My name is Eliza Carter. I'm 29 years old, and 2 months ago, I woke up in a hospital bed with a sharp, burning pain in my side and a scar that shouldn't have been there. A long, angry scar, 6 inches across my lower back. I wasn't in an accident. I didn't have cancer. I didn't need surgery. And yet, when I lifted the hospital gown with shaking hands, I knew exactly what had been taken from me. One of my kidneys was gone. When the nurse came in, she avoided my eyes. "Can you tell me what surgery I had?" I asked. She hesitated, then said, "The doctor will explain everything." That was the first time I felt real fear, because I already knew the truth, and my parents were standing in the hallway smiling like they had just won the lottery. Let me take you back 2 months earlier. In my family, there was always one rule that nobody said out loud. Daniel comes first. Daniel is my older brother, the golden child, the miracle baby, the son who could do no wrong. Growing up, he was praised for breathing. I was praised only when I stayed quiet. If Daniel failed a class, my parents blamed the teacher. If I got straight A's, my father would say, "That's nice, but Daniel is more creative." Daniel crashed his car at 19. They bought him a new one. I worked 3 jobs to pay for my college books. He dropped out of college. They said school wasn't for everyone. I graduated with honors. They forgot to come to my ceremony. I learned early that in our house, love was not shared equally. 2 months before I woke up in that hospital bed, my mother called me crying. Not fake crying, real, trembling, desperate crying. "It's Daniel," she said. "He's very sick." I drove 4 hours to my parents' house without thinking. No matter what, he was still my brother. The diagnosis was terrifying. Liver failure, kidney damage. The doctor said his organs were failing fast. Years of drinking, years of drugs, years of my parents pretending it was just a phase. My father stood in the hospital hallway with his arms crossed like a general. "He needs transplants," he said. "Soon." My mother held my hand so tightly it hurt. "You're a universal donor," she whispered. "You could save him." The room felt smaller. I didn't answer. A week later, they invited me to dinner. Family meeting, they called it. We sat around the old dining table where Daniel's trophies still sat on the shelves. There was nothing about me on those walls, not a single photo. My father spoke first. "The waiting list is too long," he said. "Daniel won't survive that long." My mother daubed her eyes. "But you're healthy," she said. "You have 2 kidneys, 2 parts of a liver. You only need 1. I put down my fork. "You're asking me to donate my organs." My father shook his head. "Not asking, just discussing options." But we all knew what they meant. I felt something cold move through me. I said no. Not angry, not dramatic, just no. They didn't yell, they didn't beg, they didn't argue. They went silent. That silence was worse than any fight. For weeks, they stopped calling. Daniel stopped texting. I was removed from the family group chat. It was like I didn't exist anymore. I tried to convince myself it was fine. I had my own apartment, my own job, my own life. But deep down, I still wanted them to care. That was my mistake. 3 weeks later, my mother called again. Her voice was soft, apologetic. "Eliza, we've been terrible," she said. "We were emotional, we pushed you, I'm sorry." I wanted to believe her. "We're going to a private clinic for checkups," she said. "All of us. Family bonding. Maybe lunch after?" Something felt off, but loneliness makes you stupid. I said yes. The clinic was expensive. Marble floors, soft music, smiling staff. My mother hugged me in the lobby. "For my girl," she said, handing me a cup of water. "You must be thirsty." I drank it. That was the last thing I remembered clearly. When I woke up, my body was screaming. A burning pain in my back, a strange hollow feeling inside my body. I lifted my gown. The scar was real. The nurse wouldn't explain. The doctor avoided details. And then my parents walked in, with flowers, smiling. My mother kissed my forehead. "You're a hero," she whispered. My father patted my shoulder. "Daniel is stable now," he said. "You saved him." I stared at them. "You took my kidney," I said. My mother nodded, like she was proud. "It was necessary." My father shrugged. "You're young. You'll be fine. Daniel needed it more." I felt something inside me break. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part came 3 days later, when a journalist knocked on my door and asked me a question that made my blood freeze. "Did you know your parents raised over $2 million in donations for Daniel's transplant?" he said. I stared at him. "What donations?" He looked confused. "They said Daniel was dying and needed emergency transplants. The whole town donated. Businesses, churches, strangers online." My hands started shaking. "But the hospital covered the surgery," I whispered. He hesitated. "That's what I'm investigating," he said, "because the numbers don't match, and your parents' bank accounts just exploded." That was the moment I realized something far worse than betrayal had happened. They didn't just take my organs, they sold my pain. And I had a feeling this was only the beginning. I stood in my apartment doorway, staring at the man who had just shattered what was left of my reality. His name was Marcus Reed, investigative journalist, late 30s, tired eyes, the kind of person who had seen too many lies to be surprised anymore. He held a folder in his hand. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said quietly, "but I think you deserve to know what really happened." I hesitated, then let him in. My apartment felt colder. He sat across from me at my kitchen table and spread out documents like puzzle pieces of a nightmare. Screenshots, bank statements, screenshots of donation campaigns, local news articles with my parents' faces smiling next to Daniel's hospital bed. I stared at one headline. "Local family rallies to save son's life. Community raises $2.3 million in 72 hours. My hands trembled. "They used your surgery as proof," Marcus said. "They told everyone you volunteered your organs because you loved your brother. People cried, churches held fundraisers, companies donated huge sums for publicity." I felt sick. "They told the town you were a hero," he added, "but they kept the money." I swallowed. "Where did it go?" I asked. Marcus looked at me for a long moment. "That's the problem," he said. "Most of it didn't go to Daniel's medical bills." He slid another document toward me. A list of transfers, shell companies, offshore accounts, private investments. "They laundered it," he said, "or someone helped them." My heart pounded. "Who?" He hesitated. "The hospital." I laughed, not because it was funny, because it sounded insane. "The hospital saved Daniel," I said. "They did the surgery." "Yes, and that's exactly why I started digging." He leaned forward. "Your brother wasn't eligible for that surgery legally. His records were manipulated, test results altered, waiting list bypassed." I stared at him. "You're saying they faked his condition?" He said, "I'm saying parts of it were real, but the urgency was exaggerated and the surgery was scheduled through a private program that doesn't officially exist." My skin crawled. He pulled out his laptop and showed me a spreadsheet. Names, dates, surgeries. "There are patterns," he said. "Healthy donors, unusual surgeries, rich recipients, large anonymous payments." I recognized one name. My neighbor's cousin, a girl who disappeared for months after a routine procedure. "Where did you get this?" I whispered. He said, "Leaked data. Someone inside the hospital contacted me anonymously." My chest tightened. "Why me?" He looked at me like he wasn't sure how to answer. "Because your case is the cleanest," he said. "You didn't consent, you didn't need surgery, you're the proof that this isn't just corruption, it's organ trafficking." The word echoed in my head. Trafficking. My parents drugged me, the hospital cut me open, someone paid, and everyone pretended it was charity. I stood up and walked to the window. The city looked normal, people walking dogs, cars honking, kids laughing, and beneath all of it, bodies were being traded like spare parts. "Why haven't you published this?" I asked. He sighed. "Because I don't have enough proof," he said. "Hospitals have lawyers, politicians, donors, power. A story like this disappears unless it's bulletproof." I turned back to him. "What do you need?" He met my eyes. "You." I froze. "I'm not a hero." he said. You already are, he quietly. They used your organs and your face to steal millions. If you speak out, people will listen. I thought of my parents' smiles, the flowers, the way my father said I'd be fine. I felt something dark growing inside me. Tell me what to do, I said. We spent hours going through everything. He showed me videos of my parents crying on live streams, messages from strangers calling me an angel, screenshots of donors saying they prayed for Daniel and me. All of it was fake. All of it was built on my blood. Around midnight, Marcus closed his laptop. There's one more thing, he said. His voice was different, careful. I sat down slowly. What? He slid one final document toward me. A medical report. Not Daniel's, mine. Your liver removal was more than they told you, he said. They didn't just take a small portion. My heart stopped. How much did they take? He hesitated. Almost half. That's not standard for donation, not without consent, not with risk. Whoever authorized this didn't care if you survived. My parents' faces flashed in my mind, and suddenly I wasn't sure if they would have cared if I died. Why would they do that? I whispered. He looked at me. Because they were paid more for it. Silence filled the room. I realized this wasn't just about Daniel anymore. This was a business, a network, and my parents were either greedy enough to join it or desperate enough to be used by it. Marcus stood up. I want to expose them, he said, but if we do this, it will be dangerous. People involved in this don't like attention. I nodded. I don't care. He studied my face. You might when they start fighting back. I thought of everything they took from me, my health, my trust, my body. They already destroyed my life, I said. Let them try. He smiled slightly. Good, he said, because tomorrow I'm going to introduce you to the person who leaked the hospital files. I looked at him. Who is it? He paused. A surgeon. My stomach dropped. A surgeon who says this hospital has been running a black market organ program for years? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept touching the scar on my back, feeling the emptiness inside me, and thinking about how deep this rabbit hole might go. Because if a hospital could steal organs, fake records, and help families launder millions, then my parents were not just villains. They were just the beginning. I met the surgeon in a quiet cafe far away from the hospital. His name was Dr. Adrian Keller. He looked nervous, like he was scared someone was watching him. His hands were shaking when he held his coffee. Marcus sat next to me and turned on a recorder. Just tell us everything, Marcus said. Dr. Keller took a deep breath. I should have spoken earlier, he said, but I was scared. He looked at me. You were marked years ago, he said. I felt like I couldn't breathe. What do you mean marked? I asked. The hospital system tracks people, he said. Healthy people, young people, people who can donate organs easily. My chest felt tight. You were one of them. Did my parents know? I whispered. He paused for a moment. Not at first, he said, but when your brother started getting sick, the hospital contacted them. My hands started shaking. They told your parents there was a special program, he continued. They said Daniel would die without fast surgery, and waiting for donors would take too long. I swallowed. They called it a miracle opportunity. What was the price? I asked. He looked straight at me. You. My head started spinning. They told your parents you could donate safely, he said. They promised money, priority treatment, and a perfect story for the public. So they agreed? I asked. He nodded slowly. They signed the papers. Marcus leaned forward. What about the donation money? He asked. Dr. Keller sighed. The hospital uses donation campaigns to hide payments, he said. People think they are helping, but most of the money goes to the hospital and the family. So my parents were paid? I asked. Yes, he said. A lot. I felt sick. They used your surgery to make people feel emotional, he said. That is how they raised millions. Then he said something that scared me more. Your surgery was not supposed to be the only one. My heart stopped. What do you mean? They plan to use you again, he said. More liver parts, bone marrow, tissue, over many years. I felt cold. They wanted to keep using me? Yes. Did my parents know that too? I asked. He nodded. They signed a long-term agreement. My childhood suddenly made sense. All those doctor visits, all those blood tests, all those checkups they forced me to do. They were not protecting me. They were checking their investment. Why are you telling us this now? Marcus asked. Dr. Keller looked down. A girl died last month, he said quietly. Same program, same type of surgery. She never woke up. My stomach dropped. He continued, they said it was a complication. Her parents got paid. I couldn't live with it anymore. Can you prove all this? Marcus asked. Dr. Keller took out a small flash drive. Everything is here, he said. Contracts, surgery records, payments, emails. Marcus looked shocked. This can destroy them, he said. Dr. Keller nodded. If they don't destroy us first. That night, Marcus drove me home. The city looked normal. People walking, cars passing, lights shining. No one knew what was happening behind hospital walls. Are you scared? Marcus asked. I touched the scar on my back. I should be, but I'm angry. He nodded. That's good. Anger makes you brave. When I got inside my apartment, my phone had messages from my mother. She had called 3 times. One message said, Eliza, please call me. Something is wrong. I called her. Her voice sounded scared. Eliza, where have you been? She asked. I'm finding the truth, I said. They're asking questions, she whispered. The hospital called us. About what? They said someone is investigating. It's me, I said. Silence. You know everything? She asked. Yes, I said. You sold me. You signed the papers. You took the money. She started crying. We had no choice, she said. You had a choice. You chose money. They're scared, she said. The hospital said they will ruin us if this story comes out. I laughed. They already ruined me. After the call, I stared out the window. This was bigger than my family. This was a system, a business, and I was done being quiet. The next morning, Marcus called me. His voice was tense. Eliza, we have a big problem, he said. My heart started racing. What happened? They found Dr. Keller. I drove to Marcus's office as fast as I could. He looked serious when I arrived. They fired him last night, Marcus said, and that's the good news. I stared at him. What's the bad news? He disappeared. Dr. Keller was gone. His phone was off. His apartment was empty. His car was missing. No police report, no hospital statement. No one was looking for him. It was like he never existed. They do this, Marcus said quietly. People who talk too much disappear. I felt cold. He gave us proof, I said. We can expose them. Yes, Marcus said, but only if we stay alive long enough to publish it. That night, I went to my parents' house. I didn't call them first. I wanted to see them face to face. I wanted answers. My mother opened the door. She looked tired, scared, older than I remembered. Eliza, she whispered. Let me in, I said. My father was sitting on the couch. Daniel was there too. He looked healthy, strong, not like someone who was dying. He was eating pizza and laughing. So this is the dying patient, I said. Everyone went silent. Daniel froze. Eliza, it's not what you think, my mother said. I laughed. You needed my organs, I said, but you look perfectly fine. Daniel looked down. I didn't know they did it without your consent, he said. You knew they took my organs, I said. He didn't answer. I turned to my parents. You lied to everyone, I said. You lied to the town. You lied to donors. You lied to me. My father stood up. We saved your brother, he said. You sold me, I replied. My mother started crying. "They told us he would die," she said. "They said there was a special program. They said you would be safe." "You believed them?" I asked. She shook her head slowly. "We believed the money," she whispered. I felt something break inside me. "How much did you get?" I asked. My father looked away. "Enough," he said. "Enough for what?" "A new house, new cars, investments, a future." "A future built on my body?" I said. Daniel finally spoke. "They told me you agreed," he said quietly. I stared at him. I said no. His face turned pale. My phone vibrated. A message from Marcus. "They are watching you. Be careful." I looked at my parents. The hospital knows someone is investigating. They are scared. My father crossed his arms. "They warned us," he said. "Warned you about what?" "They said if this story comes out, they will destroy us." I smiled. They already destroyed me. When I left their house, I noticed something. A black car was parked across the street. The same car I saw outside Marcus's office. The same car that was parked near my apartment yesterday. Someone was following me. I went inside my apartment and locked the door. Minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. A deep voice said, "Stop digging, Eliza." My hands started shaking. "Or what?" I asked. "Or you'll end up like the surgeon." The call ended. I sat on the floor, staring at the wall. My heart was pounding. They knew my name. They knew where I lived. They were not scared of me. They were trying to scare me. I called Marcus. "They called me," I said. "I know," he said. "They called me too." "What do we do?" He paused. "We go public," he said, "before they erase us." I looked at my scar again. They took my kidney. They took my liver. They took my trust. But they didn't take my voice. And now, I was ready to use it. Marcus published the first article at 6 a.m. He didn't name names yet. He didn't drop the bomb. He leaked just enough to light the fire. Exclusive. Whistleblower reveals secret organ program at elite private hospital. By noon, it was everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, news channels, Reddit conspiracy threads. People were angry, terrified, demanding answers. And then Marcus posted the second article. My story. My real name, my scar, my medical records, my parents' signatures. The world exploded. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Unknown numbers, journalists, lawyers, strangers calling me brave, others calling me a liar. Then I saw my parents on TV. They were crying again. But this time, they weren't heroes. They were villains. The reporter asked my mother, "Did you consent to your daughter's surgery?" She hesitated. My father interrupted. "We thought she agreed," he said. The reporter showed the signed document. Their signatures, not mine. My mother broke down on camera. "They told us it was legal. They told us she would be fine. They told us—" The reporter cut her off. "Did you receive money?" Silence. Then my father said something that destroyed whatever was left of them. "Yes." The world went silent. The hospital released a statement. They denied everything, called it a conspiracy, said Marcus fabricated data, said I was mentally unstable after surgery. They tried to paint me as crazy. That was when Marcus released the flash drive. Emails, contracts, payment records, surgeon signatures, video recordings of secret meetings. The truth was undeniable. The next day, police raided the hospital. Doctors were arrested, administrators disappeared, servers were seized. The director of the hospital tried to flee the country. He was caught at the airport with $4 million in cash. And then something even crazier happened. Other victims came forward. A college student who woke up missing part of her liver, a construction worker who lost a kidney after a routine surgery, A woman whose husband died during an illegal organ extraction. This wasn't just my story. It was a system. My parents were arrested 2 weeks later. Fraud, conspiracy, human trafficking. Daniel was charged too, not for taking my organ, but for lying, laundering money, and covering everything up. He tried to call me from jail. I didn't answer. Marcus and I sat in his office watching the news. "They're calling it the biggest medical scandal of the decade," he said. I stared at the screen. My scars still burned, my body still felt incomplete, but something else felt whole for the first time. Justice. "Are you okay?" Marcus asked. I nodded slowly. "They took parts of me, but they didn't take everything." He smiled. "You changed the system." I looked at my phone. Millions of messages. People thanking me. People saying they felt safer. People saying they were scared of hospitals now. I realized something. My pain saved strangers. But the story wasn't over, because that night, I got another call. Unknown number. I answered. A familiar, deep voice spoke. "You think this is finished, Eliza?" My blood ran cold. He said, "This hospital was just one branch. You have no idea how big this is." "Who are you?" I asked. He chuckled. "Someone who doesn't like losing money." The call ended. I stared at the phone. Marcus looked at me. What did they say? I took a deep breath. This was only the surface. And that's when I realized something terrifying. My parents were small players. The hospital was just one node. The real people behind this were still out there, watching, waiting. And now they knew my name. For the first time since the surgery, I felt real fear. Not fear of my parents, not fear of the hospital, fear of the people above them, the ones who never showed their faces. Marcus shut the blinds in his office. "They're not bluffing," he said. "This is bigger than a single hospital. These networks operate like corporations, lawyers, investors, politicians." "So what now?" I asked. He didn't answer immediately. Then he said one word. "Hide." That night, I packed a single bag. No photos, no memories, just documents, hard drives, and clothes. Marcus arranged a safe place. A small house outside the city, owned by a retired journalist who owed him a favor. "No social media, no calls, no patterns," he warned. "If they can't find you, they can't erase you." Erase. That word stayed in my head. 3 days later, Marcus called me. His voice was shaking. "I traced the payments," he said. "The offshore accounts, the shell companies, they all lead to one organization." "What is it?" I asked. He hesitated. "A medical investment group, international, untouchable. Their donors include politicians, celebrities, billionaires." My stomach dropped. "People who need organs fast," he added, "and don't care where they come from." Then he sent me a file. A donor list. Famous names, powerful names, people who smiled on TV and talked about saving lives. They were saving their own, using people like me. That night, someone tried to break into the safe house. I was in the kitchen when I heard the glass crack. I froze. Footsteps outside. Quiet. Professional. Not a thief. A message. I turned off the lights and hid in the bathroom, holding my phone. I texted Marcus, "They're here." Seconds felt like hours. Then the footsteps stopped. A card slid under the door. I waited 5 minutes before picking it up. On the card was a symbol, a black circle with a white key inside, and a message. "You open the door, now you walk through it." The next morning, Marcus arrived with a gun. "He doesn't like this," he said. "That symbol, it's from old intelligence leaks, a private global network. They don't just traffic organs, they traffic people." My throat went dry. "They recruit families, hospitals, governments," he continued. "They control narratives, media, law enforcement." "So exposing them means," I asked. He looked at me. War. Then my phone rang again. Unknown number. I answered. A woman's voice this time. Calm, polite, terrifying. Miss Carter, she said, you have caused significant financial losses. I told the truth, I replied. She laughed softly. Truth is expensive, and expensive things are controlled. What do you want? I asked. To offer you a choice, she said. My heart raced. Disappear quietly or become an example. The call ended. I stared at Marcus. They want me gone, I whispered. He nodded. But you already changed everything, he said. People are watching them now. I thought about the scar on my back, the kidney I'd never get back, the liver they sliced like it was property. They thought they owned me. They thought they could buy silence. They were wrong. I opened my laptop and started recording a video. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady. My name is Eliza Carter. They stole my organs. They stole millions using my pain, and they think they can erase me? So I'm leaving this message for the world. Marcus watched silently. I looked into the camera. If anything happens to me, release everything. I hit save. And then I noticed something terrifying. The camera light on my laptop turned on by itself. Someone was watching. Not just listening. Watching me. The small green light on my laptop camera blinked. I hadn't turned it on. Marcus noticed it too. He slowly turned his head toward the screen. Did you start a live stream? He asked. I shook my head. My chest tightened. My laptop screen changed. The recording app closed by itself. A new window opened. A live feed of me. From an angle that wasn't my laptop. From somewhere in the room. I turned around slowly. There was nothing behind me, but the camera angle was wrong. It was coming from above, from inside the smoke detector. Marcus stood up. They're in the system, he whispered. Then text appeared on the screen. You told the world our secret. Now the world will forget you. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown, encrypted number. Your parents have been released. Deal made, story buried. I froze. Marcus grabbed my phone. That's impossible, he said. They're in custody. Another message came. Check the news. We turned on the TV. Breaking news. Due to lack of evidence and procedural errors, the Carter family has been released pending investigation. My mother's face appeared on the screen. Crying again, calling it a misunderstanding, calling me confused, calling the journalists liars. The hospital issued another statement. The investigation was ongoing. No names mentioned, no arrests confirmed. The internet moved on. A news scandal replaced it. Marcus slammed his fist on the table. They erased it, he said. They erased everything. My laptop screen changed again. A woman appeared on it. Calm, elegant, smiling. The same voice from the phone. We appreciate your bravery, Eliza, she said. You helped us identify leaks in our system. We have corrected them. I stared at her. What do you want? I asked. She tilted her head. To end this story. She clicked a button. My recorded video deleted itself. The files vanished. The hard drives wiped remotely. Marcus tried to stop it. Too late. Everything was gone. People forget fast, she said. Scandals fade. Heroes fade. Victims fade. She leaned closer to the camera. But systems like ours, we never fade. The screen went black. I sat there, staring at my scar. The world outside kept moving. Cars drove, people laughed, hospitals kept operating, And somewhere inside them, someone else was waking up with a scar they didn't consent to. Marcus looked at me. "They won," he said quietly. I touched my scar again. "No," I whispered. "They only think they did." Because even if they erased the story, they could never erase what they did to me. And one day, someone else would notice the pattern. Someone else would dig. Someone else would connect the dots. And when that happened, they weren't ready. Because they took my organs, they took my family, they took my story. But they didn't take the truth. And the truth always comes back.